Here we go. Welcome to the Transform with Travel podcast, where we share stories of personal transformation and life lessons through our experiences of traveling and exploring the world. Travel is the ultimate accelerator for personal growth, and it can be the root catalyst for the pivots and plot twists we make in our lives. I'm your host, Kelly Tolliday, and it's my mission to inspire you to live life to its fullest, travel with an open mind and heart, and let the world show you a new perspective. I'm so grateful you're here with us today, so let's dive right in. Happy exploring. Hello. Welcome to the Transform with Travel podcast. I'm sitting here with my amazing business partner, Chloe, and we are so excited to be ushering in this new year with you. Thanks for joining.
So happy to be here with you.
Yeah. And so we hear a lot about setting intentions and setting goals and setting resolutions and things we want to change about ourselves or things we want to amplify. And really, we want to, from a Rising Nature Retreats perspective, from a travel perspective, especially with this podcast, is we want to look at our year as our bucket list and what are things that maybe have been on our bucket list personally, professionally for a long time, and things that you know that you're going to bring into fruition this year. And so we want to bring this aspect of adventure into the conversation. And what are things that maybe are a little scary or a little foreign or a little out of your comfort zone, the same way that when you feel a little out of your comfort zone when you go from a different country. And we want to look at this from the lens of our goals and have the same level of excitement and adventure the same way that you would do if you step off an airplane.
I love this. I also think this conversation is about dreaming big. And
Hmm.
when we're in community and can connect this way, like we become each other's cheerleaders and we can really root each other on to go for it, to take that trip of a lifetime, to cross off that thing off your bucket list. So happy to be having this conversation with you.
Yeah. So this will be a short and sharp episode. We know it's the beginning of the year. You're still coming down from all the holidays and you still have that week left of PTO perhaps. And so we don't want to take up too much of your time today. We just really wanted to allow you to be in the question of what is on your bucket list personally, professionally, health wise, financial wise, whatever quadrants of your life that you're focusing on. What's on your bucket list and what are you going to go after? Because of course we can't do everything on our bucket list. We did everything on my bucket list. I'd be traveling full time 24/7, which is also on my bucket list. It's traveling 24/7. But we just want you to perhaps maybe get a journal out or start to just like jot in some notes on your phone, like what's on my bucket list this year? What am I going to tackle? How am I going to set out sustainable goals so that I can get from point A to point B? So instead of thinking of it as like a resolution or something that you need to change about yourself, it's about how to get yourself excited about the adventures or the goals or the challenges that might be ahead. How do we bring excitement to that?
Woohoo.
Yeah.
I love these kinds of conversations. Let's do it.
Yeah. So for me personally, my goal and has been a goal for the last year or so, 2023 was the year of slow, which I think I definitely got a little taste of what that could be like, especially going to Greece and then especially going to Costa Rica, getting a taste of what that feels like in my body and how uncomfortable that was for me to slow down. I think that was really the first step of healing, was recognizing my relationship or lack thereof of slowing down. And so 2024, I really want to take that to the next level and really embody that learning. It's going to help a lot when we go to Portugal for our Art of Slow Living retreat, and definitely being able to encompass a lot of that slow living movement and just really being able to be there in the present moment. But for me personally, that looks like my bucket list is to be able to be with my children and fully be with my children and not thinking about the emails or the Instagram post or the next project that we have, and truly when putting my phone on do not disturb, like allowing that to actually be a motto, like, do not disturb this time, protect this peace with my children, because you can definitely see how my lack of feeling safe in my own body and being able to come down into myself, it definitely affects them. And you hear this time and time again from psychologists, even from the first 7 years of their life, they pick up all their habits and their patterns from their parents. So for me, it's almost like it really feels like a matter of life or death. Like, this is the time for me to really take this concept and apply it to my personal life. So that's my bucket list. Slow down, protect my peace with my children, and really being able to set firm boundaries around my work and my family. As an entrepreneur, it's
It's not easy.
not easy at all. So that's me personally. What about you? What are you gonna do?
Me, was so in the moment listening to your slow living. I love this. I from the perspective of the personal side, I would like to create more spaciousness for creativity. And that is also encompassed in the slow living time to not only journal, which I do pretty regularly, but write creatively and have very intentional time in a weekly capacity where I know that's time either for me to take a walk and be out in nature and feel inspired in that space, to connect more with sound healing and new instruments that I'm learning to play, perhaps pick up the shamanic flute, which I've been really considering taking lessons, some vocal lessons, to get back into maybe a writing course, like really being in that feminine energy that allows me to create, not necessarily to put out a product necessarily and like market something, but just create for me as part of my own healing. And this is inspired by, coming to you live from an entrepreneur that has learned many a times what it is to burn out and realizing that I feel the most alive and the most charged up and ready to like take on the world and everything that comes with living life as a human in this modern world from a place of like, I feel connected to what makes me feel good on a daily basis, and I can be that creative person, and I can feel connected to my inner child in the very simplest of ways. So I'm really looking forward to a year of creativity and kind of being bad at some stuff and letting that be okay because it's an exploration of, newness and being and having fun with that. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
I think what you said is learning a new skill and then not immediately having to market that skill. I think we come from a generation that's very build your own life and have a freedom-filled life and use your unique gifts and talents to serve the world or create impact, or we hear a lot about on Instagram, profit, profit, revenue, 10 figures, seven, all the
Which is
things,
great.
all the figures, which is great, but it also perpetuates this idea of I have a hobby or a skill and how can I monetize it instead of being in the enjoyment and the pleasure of creating just to create. It builds these like robot brains that we have of skill, monetize, scale, skill, monetize, scale. And we just aren't actually enjoying ourselves in that creative process. So I like that a lot.
I'm ready to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So professionally,
Mm.
For my bucket list professionally is to I've done a lot of trainings and a lot of certifications and, over 600, 700 hours worth of yoga training. I've worked in marketing and corporate marketing for 10 years. So I'm really, from a bucket list perspective, wanting to elevate my voice and elevate my reach, not in terms of sales. Of course, that's always the end goal of any business, but to be able to reach different audiences that might not be actively seeking wellness in the form that we're serving it up in. And so that looks like working with thought leadership programs like the Daily Drip, which I'm a thought leader for. And that means writing long form blog content for corporate women, for reaching different businesses and different models. So the people that really need the medicine, the techniques, the training, the education that we have, being able to reach them in different capacities. And that also looks like slightly different events that we offer and still the underpinnings of everything that we do, which is educate, experience, and connect, but perhaps reaching different audience populations that way. And so for me, what that looks like is being very strategic about where I place my time. If I have to tie in my personal goal with my professional goal, I can't be at every networking event. I can't host 7 different events
Mhm.
during a month because my personal goal is to spend more time with my children and fully be there. So professionally, being able to elevate my voice through programs like the Daily Drip or through LinkedIn, or really being mindful of how I'm sharing that message and reaching corporate populations, reaching, business women, reaching lawyers and accountants and people that are really struggling with burnout and pretty much, marketers or creatives, everyone's struggling with burnout, but being able to do it in a really strategic way so that my time is really being valued on both ends from me. I think
Yeah.
a lot of times as an entrepreneur, it's easy to just focus on solely the value that you're giving to your clients because you wanna serve them in the best way possible, and then you're not always thinking about how am I sending myself the signals of value between just time to take care of yourself or time to be with your family. So that's really long-winded way of saying bucket list for professional is to expand my voice, elevate my voice, become a thought leader in this space, and really being able to serve people in businesses and corporations that really want and need the help and using strategic focus, like being really strategic about where I'm placing my time.
And I think your approach is pretty holistic. Like you're looking at this as full picture, and I love this idea when we approach a new year to just look at all the specific areas of our life, not as a way to feel like, oh my God, there's so much to do, but like, how are all of these things going to coexist as one? Because we are a whole person, right?
Mhm.
Like, there are parts of our lives that are in different compartments, clearly, but how do we integrate all of them so that it makes sense and it feeds off of each other in a way that's really beneficial and for your personal
Mhm.
life boundaries with that do not disturb
Mhm.
as a feature now, one of the good things about an iPhone can really help support, the space when you show up professionally, like just fully there and fully ready to connect on a new level. Sounds amazing to
Yeah.
connect with new clients and thought leaders and corporate companies and women in healthcare, women in law, and not exclusive to women. It can be all sorts. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So for me professionally, I really would like to move into the space of creating an online community. And I know we do a lot of community building locally here in South Florida, but as we meet people that come to our retreats that live all over the country, I've been really feeling this call to create a presence, a community that is just really easy for people to like log on, log in, connect, see, your retreat buddies and learn a new skill in the process. So we talk a lot about educate, create experiences and connect and what we do with Rising Nature Retreats. And so to have that formula be transferred to an online program that's going to be a combination of fully and finally launching my group coaching program, as well as my sound healing certification course, and to think about sound healing certification course in an even larger scale. So we talked online for the group coaching program, but considering this amazing opportunity to travel to Greece next year, next summer, at the end of June into the beginning of July to run my very first international sound healing certification at a destination we've been to already, just lights me up and gets me really excited about combining two aspects, that aspects of education through a certification template, but also like doing that while on retreat in the Mediterranean.
Mhm.
Like, wow, bucket list, like
Yeah.
big deal. So I'm getting really excited to put all those details together, which we're stoked to be announcing this month in January. So if you're interested in sound healing certifications, you'll be hearing more from us about the offerings that we have both domestically and internationally. So 2024 is looking pretty exciting with this balance for me of the online connection and component of group coaching, finding my people there, keeping that consistent, and also adding something really special like the sound healing certification abroad in Greece, in Serifos, Greece, in the summer of this year. So it's looking
Yeah,
like
I
an
think it's
amazing year.
amazing, and I feel like what's been really good for us as a business, and also I'm sure people listening who either are entrepreneurs or business owners or have a side hustle or anything, the biggest thing that we've learned, we're having this conversation as we've headed into year 3 of our business, and a lot of people who've owned businesses will know year 3 is when it's sometimes this make or break feeling, and for us we've really have stepped into the call of evolving and like pivoting where we need to pivot and still offering, like we said, the foundations of everything that we love with the travel, movement, meditation, nature. Then also when we see the call of stepping up and up leveling, we've both been able to support each other in that way, whether it's up leveling in parenthood for myself or up leveling yourself into an international sound healing certifier, teacher, trainer. So it's just been really exciting the last few years to see that growth. And so to recap, personally, I'm slowing down and professionally, I am expanding my voice strategically.
Love it. And for me, personally, creating more time for creativity, to learn new things, and professionally going for it and just creating that online community I've always wanted to create, and taking my sound healing certifications to the next level, which is abroad. It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah,
Great
we're so
year ahead.
excited. So we really encourage you to sit down with this question, whether again, you're just thinking about it in your head, typing it out in your phone, or journaling in your journal. Just sit with maybe just those two simple questions. What's on my bucket list personally and what's on my bucket list professionally? And then taking that one step further to what is the next best step? Like, what is my action step that I could take today just to get 1% closer to that goal? That's not going immediately into, the end result. It's just maybe that's just taking 10 minutes to research XYZ topic that you're interested in, or maybe that's taking a new yoga class that you've never taken, or maybe that's sending your deposit for a Portugal retreat or a Greece retreat. So just a little plug there. It's very, very, what is the word? Like
Un-
subtle,
yeah, very
very
subtle.
subtle plug.
Unashamed.
But yeah, so we're really excited for everyone to head into 2024 feeling this sense of adventure, stepping out of comfort zones, and really seeing where that can take you within your life. And we're here to support you.
Yeah, the accountability of this is a component that is worth looking into. Share your goals, just like me and Kelly did right now. It feels really amazing to share your dreams and your bucket list items with someone that can hold you accountable, and you can do the same for them. Not only allows you to take whatever you wrote down on that piece of paper and say it out loud to amplify the intention, but that connection and sharing is something that is just going to just elevate the purpose behind it all. And then you have a buddy system where, like, cuz ultimately we want consistency, because that's how we pave the way to get from point A to point B, is just show up for ourselves consistently. So within community, it's just much more fun, and you got your cheering squad right there for you. So we're here to cheer you on. Thank you for being part of R&R. Welcome to 2024. Here we go. And lots more to share with you on this amazing podcast. Thanks for creating this space, Kel.
Of course, I love it. It's one of the best projects that we started from 2023, and we're looking forward to continuing to roll this out into 2024. And thank you so much for everyone for listening. We will see you on the next episode.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Transform with Travel podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode of inspiration, adventure, and exploration. If you felt inspired by this episode, please rate and review in whatever streaming app you're listening from. This allows us to spread the word even more and continue to serve up weekly doses of adventure. As always, we'd love if you could share the episode with someone in your life who you think will benefit from this conversation. Thanks so much for listening. This is your reminder to get out there and keep on exploring.